Hello, my name is Natasha Myrick, and we'll be talking about Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, or religious versus heritage. When we think about the holiday season, a lot of things come to mind. We think about love, peace, and joy. Christmas is celebrated during the holiday season, but there are different celebrations going on by different groups of people. The two that we're going to discuss are Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. The topics of comparison. We're going to compare the two. We're going to talk about the month that they're celebrated in, which is in December. We're going to talk about how they got started. We're going to talk about what the different groups of people do. And we're going to talk about the use of the candles. And we'll find that the candles are very important in both Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. They're not a celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. Even though that they're celebrated in December, they have nothing to do with Jesus being born. Let's first talk about Hanukkah. It comes from the Hebrew language meaning dedication. It was in 165 BC. The Jews in Judea defeated the Assyrian king, and who in prior years had banned the practice of Judaism. Hanukkah is sometimes referred to as a festival of lights and is a celebration of that victory. The temple was purified and an eternal light was lit. They only had enough oil, holy oil, to last for one day, but it remained lit for 8 days. Now, Kwanzaa comes from a phrase, Mutunda ya Kwanzaa, which means first fruits in Swahili. It's not religious, and it's celebrated by African Americans. It's created by Mulana Ran Kuranga in the 1960s, and it was created in the United States. It was created during the Civil Rights Movement, and he wanted to unite African Americans in the fight against oppression and discrimination, segregation, and poverty. Kwanzaa was created to celebrate the African American heritage and serves as a similar purpose in bringing people together and fostering pride amongst people of African descent. There's similarities in what they do during the celebration. They're both celebrated in December. Both groups would give gifts to each other. They eat special foods. They play games. And it can be celebrated privately with family or publicly with members of the same beliefs. Hanukkah, on the other hand, is only celebrated for 8 days, and it starts on the 25th day of Kislev, which may occur anytime in late November to late December. It is a religious celebration. They partake in daily prayer services, and they revisit the history behind the lighting of the candle. Kwanzaa, the celebration lasts for 7 days, and it centers on the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And there are also 7 symbols of Kwanzaa. The mosaic, which is the fruits of the harvest. The mikika, which is the mat on which they are arranged. The kanara, which is a candle holder. The moshuma saba, which are the candles. The muhindi, which are the ears of corn, one for each child in the family. The kikomochi omoja, which is the chalice of unity. And zawadi, which are the gifts. Kwanzaa is celebrated between December 26th and January 1st and is based on heritage and is not a religious celebration. The candle. The candle is a very important symbol in both Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. Hanukkah has an 8-branch candelabrum called a menorah or a Hanukkah. Using a separate candle called a shamash, one candle is lit each night until the total reaches 8 on the last night. And this is a representation of the 8 days the holy menorah remained lit. Kwanzaa, its candle is referred to as Mushama Saba, or 7 candles. It's a representation of the 7 days of Kwanzaa. And each candle has serves a purpose of a different principle. There are umoja, which is unity, Kujichakukwela, which is self-determination. Ujama, which is collective work and responsibility. Ujama, which is economic cooperation. Nia, which is purpose. Kumoba, which is creativity. And Imani, which is faith. Each evening, families exchange gifts, and they light one of the 7 candles and discuss the day's principle. Now, there's a wooden candle, there's a wooden holder called a kanara, and you'll have 3 red, which is a representation of the blood shed by African Americans. You have 3 green, which is a representation of freedom, and you'll have 1 black, which is a representation of unity. Now, let's recap. Hanukka and Kwanzaa. They're both celebrated in December and have nothing to do with the birth of Jesus. Hanukka is a celebration of the church to God, and Kwanzaa is a celebration of African American heritage. During the celebration, participants do many of the same things, such as they gift exchange, they play special games, and they have a big feast. Even though Hanukka and Kwanzaa have many differences, both represent a very important milestone in people's history and cultures. Hanukka and Kwanzaa. Thank you.